Alright, what's up, guys? It's been a minute. I think a week specifically since I uploaded. I've already made coffee, but it's been on for a minute. It doesn't smell burnt yet. Been down in the basement working on stuff. Really just working on my head. Well, that's weird. Some of it evaporated, I guess, because normally I have extra coffee left over, but it was exactly how much I needed. So, I just have the kind of good German coffee mixed with the absolute shit tier chemical tasting coffee. So I probably need to put some sugar in it, but I'm out of sugar. So I've been using brown sugar, which is better than I expected it would be, but also weird in the coffee. However, this is just half and half. I saw some creamers here in my fridge. I thought they were like the flavored vanilla creamers or whatever, or sweet cream or something, but nope, just half and half, and we already poured half and half in here. It's not too bad, but I just need a little sweetness, so we'll throw some of that brown sugar in there. It's definitely better than honey. I tried honey in coffee once when I ran out of sugar, and well, I did not like that one bit. I love honey in tea. I put honey in pretty much any tea I make, but I did not enjoy it in coffee whatsoever. The brown sugar isn't bad. It's a little weird. It's not as good as regular sugar. Definitely nowhere near as good as raw cane sugar, but it does the trick when I need a little bit of sweetness, because I'm drinking cheap coffee. Let me make sure I got the right amount. So, I have been in a weird spot lately. Yeah, that's good. All right. I am no longer in the void, as I call it, but I have this weird thing where I'm struggling to focus. Hey, cat. Meow. Meow. Yeah. Welcome back, buddy. He was begging to let me in. All right. So he was begging to let him in. There we go. So I have this weird thing where I've been struggling to focus lately. And I will stare at a wall for hours and get nothing done. Like, I streamed last night, I think it was. I was ready to start the stream. I started preparing the stream at around like 2000 hours, which is 8 p.m. for all you normies, and I didn't start it until after 2300 hours, which is 11 p.m. So I don't know precisely why I'm struggling with focus like this. I do know, well, I assume it has to do with some kind of fear I haven't been able to track down yet. Because talking about the negative energy patterns that I can feel in my body, which we call demons, a lot of them have names related to them, right? Like, money is always a big one. At least for me. Then there's like each of the 7 deadly sins, of course: pride, lust, gluttony. I don't remember the other ones. Someone leave them in the comments what all 7 are. I don't feel like looking it up mid video. Hey, cat. He's begging for attention right now. Another one I've encountered is locks. I encounter that one a lot. What's locks? I spell it L-O-X. It's a corrupted form of love. You know, if you've ever read Aristotle, he talks about how everything has a pure form and a corrupted form. And his primary example ends up being different types of governments, at least in stuff I read. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a concept that he started somewhere else. Get down. You're not supposed to be on the table, and you know that. And you can sit there on the little thing. That's why it's there, kitty. I leave this little thing out here for him to sit on, but when he's begging for attention, he'll get up on my face even though he knows he's not supposed to be on the table. There's a corrupted form and a pure form of everything. So relating to like governments, the pure form of monarchy is the philosopher king. The corrupted form is the despotic tyrant, you know? The pure form of his favorite type of government is the aristocracy, which is a group of small people, preeminent of virtue, selected to rule for the good of the state. The corrupted form is what we have in the United States, which is an oligarchy, a group of people who seize power through profiteering and rule for the purpose of greater profit, right? So you have these good and corrupted forms of each version, and Locke's is effectively the corrupted form of love. Now, what is it? It's like a possessive, controlling love. Because true love welcomes you with open arms. It doesn't crush you, right? And that's one of the things that I've seen a lot in a lot of people when they're in abusive relationships is they think they're in love with someone, but really they're being controlled and manipulated through locks, not love. I don't remember what I was saying, why I started this. Like, this is something I just know. Oh, all the various demons, of course. So, of all of them, the biggest one I keep coming back to is fear. You know, and it can be fear of anything, really. I recently conquered a big fear, which was fear of posting imperfect vocal recordings online. And I did that July 4th, earlier this month. Really, I think it was like July 6th by the time the video was posted, but I recorded it July 4th. And then it took me like a day and a half to get over the fear of actually just yeeting it out there into the internet. And that felt like a watershed moment, an absolute breakthrough. But I have been kind of stuck in a pattern of uncertainty since then, where I can still feel fear in the same area. It's lower back. At least I assume it's fear, because generally one of the things I've noticed is whenever I track down this negative energy to a part of my body, it was like different layers of that particular feeling or demon or whatever you want to call it that I had to go through to remove it from that spot. Only now I don't know what I'm afraid of, right? That's a weird concept because I'm not sure how to progress past this weird little limbo that I'm in. I find it very hard to be motivated to do anything right now. And I'm just stuck in a consumer loop, you know? There's two types of internet denizens, which some people call netizens. Basically, anyone who's terminally on the internet should be familiar with those terms. Uh, and it boils down to either you're a consumer or a creator. Now, the vast majority of us who aren't simply consumers, those who do create, will be both at times, you know. Uh, Mr. Beast said specifically for years he would do nothing but study YouTube videos to learn how to make the best YouTube videos. And then he started making his YouTube videos, right? So he started that whole process as a consumer. Then you have people like Asmongold who are actively consuming while creating. You know, that's one of the simpler ways to do it. But and I've absolutely done some of that, right? The few times I've managed to go live recently, it was reacting to current events or news or someone's interesting political take or something like that while I ate dinner. And that's what I did last night. Managed to go, oh, I just discovered new buttons. What's this one do? Oh, okay. So no, we're not gonna do that. Be nice if I could flip the camera though. Cool little effects, but not what I really want from this app. So, uh, yeah, I don't know why I'm struggling to move forward right now. I am doing better about responding to people, but I also just get so many messages these days. And here's the thing, it's not even a lot. I can't imagine what it would be like to be a really large creator because I don't really get messages related to that. You know, it's more personal things or things that I do for leisure. And it's already too much for me. You know, I don't understand how people are constantly connected. How do they spend hours on their phone all day just responding to messages? It's like, how are you so stuck in your digital world? And then it's like, it takes me like 3 or 4 days sometimes to respond to people just because it's like, I got enough energy to do that for like 30 minutes. And I think part of the issue with me is that I put too much energy into each message. Each message is important to me. It's just a text message, but I put the energy of like a whole letter into it sometimes. I am really struggling to find a balance between actually being productive and it's not even that. It's just that there is somehow a mental block and I can't really track it down. I almost just not being like the crazy thing is I can actively feel it in my body. Like it's all on the right side of my body, which leads me to believe that it's in my subconsciousness, which makes sense. In the previous videos, even if you didn't watch them because they were like 6 hours long, I talked about the organization of consciousness, or at least the organization of my consciousness. And I believe we each have 7 consciousnesses, essentially. There is the conscious and the subconscious mind, the conscious and the subconscious body, which I described as instinct, and the subconscious and conscious intuition, which is kind of a combination of body and mind. It's not, as far as I can tell, a raw instinctual drive that's holding me back, and nor is it an intuitive drive that's holding me back. So, the 7th one is the soul, or whatever you want to call it, our connection to the source, the universal consciousness, to God, the ethereal energy that each one of us has as a piece of our being. So that is never what's holding you back, right? That's always what's driving you forward. And maybe I'm struggling to connect with that, but the fact that I can feel all this negative energy, specifically on the right side of my body, at the base of my neck where it connects to my spine, and the small of my back, I would say, I don't know, it's like right below the lowest ribs. And then the other places where I really feel it, where it doesn't seem to be focused, but kind of more stuck trying to leave, are specifically in my ankle, right around, interestingly, where I have 2 metal screws for breaking my ankle during football practice. And the other one is in my wrist, right, like literally right in the joint itself sometimes, where it was really painful yesterday. I spent probably an hour or two just massaging my wrist. And the crazy thing is, the pain used to get so bad in my wrist that I couldn't even do push-ups. I thought I had carpal tunnel or something, because I've had carpal tunnel in my wrist before, which I think was primarily the doctor at the time thought it was from practicing guitar, but let's be completely honest, I never practiced enough guitar to develop carpal tunnel. I did for a while have calluses on my fingers. but that wasn't when I had carpal tunnel. So I don't believe that the carpal tunnel was from the guitar. I think it was from bad hand positioning while using my mouse. Because I was spending an insane amount of time online at that point. I think at that point I really read mostly Wikipedia because I was younger in high school. I wasn't allowed to do a lot of fun things on the internet. So I had this bad habit where I would sit with my wrist hanging off the table, hanging down, and then use the mouse just by moving my wrist like this. And I think that's what originally caused the carpal tunnel in my wrist, just stressing that in the wrong way. Um, so when that I had this new pain in my wrist. It got so bad for a while. This was way back in Pittsburgh years ago that I would have days. It was like good days and bad days, and there were some days where it was so bad I couldn't even do push-ups. Meanwhile, I was starting my fitness journey at that point, and I was able to do about 50 or 60 push-ups relatively easily at that point in time. Right now I'm kind of struggling a lot. I can only do about 30, but the pain in my wrist isn't there. It's just a lack of actual physical fitness. Well, it is, but it's not there to the level that it that I can't put weight on my wrist like I used to. Also, it would really worry me when I first felt it because it was bad. I thought maybe I had like I damaged a tendon or something, or pinched a nerve, or uh, I had like a micro fracture in one of the bones or something. Whatever it was, it hurt like hell to the point where I simply couldn't put weight on it to do push ups. And eventually I discovered that it was mental, right? Um, and then once the thing that worried me is because it was the bad type of pain. And what do I mean by that? Well, when you're exercising, there's really two types of pain. There's good pain and bad pain. The good pain is soreness, minor stretching, a little bit of stiffness. That is stuff you're going to work through as you get stronger. And when you feel that, it means you're hitting your limits and pushing through them. Bad pain is like stabbing, tearing, twisting. It's like a shooting pain. And that's what it would feel like. It would feel like a shooting pain traveling along one of the bones in my wrist, or like at least in the muscular or ligature, the muscles or ligature around it. Uh, so I was worried about damaging my body by doing push ups when it was really bad. Eventually, I learned it was all psychosomatic. The doctor couldn't find anything wrong with it. I think I actually got the wrist x-rayed twice, at least once. They just couldn't find anything wrong with it. And eventually, once I started my mental health journey of battling these demons, it all originally started right here, which is really weird. It felt like I had an extra knuckle between my knuckles. It was just this really hard, bound up muscle mass. And eventually I managed to massage it out of there just through pressure and focus and deep introspective thinking. It got so bad I actually wore the skin off of that area for a while. And I can still kind of feel it right there now, but it's more along the other knuckles than creating its own separate hump. And I can sit here and massage the muscle stress and negative energy out of my body. And I did that all day yesterday. Like hours staring at the wall, just massaging my body, trying to figure out what this block is, right? And I am admittedly at a loss because normally I've found it easier to identify this. Like I could be like, all right, this feels like fear. What am I most afraid of right now? This feels like greed or lust or envy. What comes to mind when I do those things? It's not even fear at this point because I don't feel like I'm actually afraid of anything anymore, which is a weird feeling because everyone's afraid of something, right? If I had to pick one thing that I'd say I'm afraid of, it would be Poppy, but uh, I don't know how that would create this apathy in me because, like, she has no idea I exist, right? My last video got, I think, 2 views in 7 days. So, like, clearly, uploading, creating content, it's not some kind of impending thing where it's like, oh my God, she's gonna find me and reorganize my life type thing. I said the word apathy. It really does feel like a kind of apathy. I'm not sure why I can't make myself move. Maybe it's because I've been pushing too hard lately and it's like when you do too many push-ups and your body just refuses to do another one at some point. But I also just spent all that time in the void, so I feel like that should have been the reset that would allow me to push forward again. But here I am wondering why I'm just staring at the wall, and you guys can't hear it probably because it's not loud enough, but I can crack my neck virtually endlessly. And when I do that, I feel it connect down to that spot in right below my ribs. Oh, and then when I stretch out a little bit, I can feel it all the way down my inner thigh, behind my knee, on my shins, and to the side of my knee as well, and connecting down to my ankle and then into the toes. Also, it goes the other way. I can feel it in my armpit, flowing out through my arm into the inner parts of the elbow. Then it goes on the inner part of the arm, kind of wraps around the inside until it ends up on the top, which is where it connects to that spot in the wrists and then flows out through the fingers. And I'm at a loss, right? I've tracked down this, I wouldn't even say it's a buildup because it is, because it's probably something that's existed for decades and I just wasn't aware of it. And my awareness of my own body and my own energy keeps increasing. But this is the first time really that I don't know, or I don't even have a suspicion, an inkling as to what is causing this. I don't know, a lack of energy flow, so to speak. It's just a stiffness that won't go away, and I can't figure it out. And it feels like a physical block that is preventing me from doing things productive. Like, I will sit there and stare at the wall and be like, yo, I need to go sweep the floor so I can paint the basement later today. Or at least start moving stuff so I can paint the basement tomorrow or something like that. And I'm really hoping that I get that done today. I'm speaking it into existence right now. The plan today is, before I stream, to sweep up the areas of the basement so that I can continue painting it. But then I will stare at the wall for 2 hours, trying to convince myself to move until I click on another YouTube video and just mindlessly consume it. And it's really frustrating right now. I don't know why I am struggling to be productive in this moment. I did have one day where it was exactly the opposite. I had too much energy to the point where I couldn't focus. I was literally walking around the house, pacing, shouting at the ceiling. Like, what the fuck is going on? Why? Like, I felt like I was tweaking out. Like, I had drank two entire pots of coffee, and smoked half a pack of cigarettes at the same time. And I just had, I had an uncontrollable amount of energy, and I couldn't get anything done. It was exactly the opposite. Uh, the best way to describe it right now is, I feel like a sail that's come partially loose during a storm, but I haven't figured out how to strap it back down yet. So it's kind of just wildly blowing about, and it's really frustrating. I'm not worried about the time aspect so much, because I'm finally learning to accept that, like, as long as you're faithful and patient and do your best to do good, everything will happen according to God's timing. And if it's not going to happen, then it wasn't meant to happen, right? But I do feel stuck. Like, I'm supposed to be moving forward towards those plans that God has for me, but I can't. And I don't know why. So hopefully this sorts itself out by the end of the month. Like, I literally just cracked my neck 3 times, 4 times, however many that was. If you're watching, uh, every time I tweaked my head to the side, I was cracking my neck, because it's just that much negative energy built up in that area where my neck is connecting to my shoulder and my spine. And I spent like an entire day, probably 2 days, just focused on trying to get this mental block out of the way. You know, um, I'm gonna be responding to messages today, and potentially, hopefully, going live later again. There's a video I really want to do a review of, a body camera with a recreational fire. But I'm not going to make any promises because I don't know if I can keep them, because I just feel chaotic at the moment. And I'm struggling to focus my energy and use it for good. So I just wanted to give everyone an update. The biggest thing that's really frustrating me actually is I can't force myself to edit and upload the old stream VODs to YouTube. Right? It used to be part of my routine where it would just happen. I would finish the stream, I'd do as much editing as I could before I got too tired to really focus, start uploading if the editing was finished, or all that stuff. I'd wake up in the morning, set all the stuff, edit the next video if I had time before the stream, up or an upload. If not, because I have very limited bandwidth and I can't stream and upload at the same time, uh, then I would just start preparing for the next stream. But I, it's really frustrating for me. I literally have Kdenlive, which is my editing program right now, open, but I stare at it and I can't compel myself to import the files that I need to edit. And I don't know why, because it's not difficult, right? It's something I've done many times before, probably hundreds at this point. I don't know. Go look at my Steel Drifter Streams YouTube, see how many uploads there are. Now, some of it was done with different software. I used to use DaVinci when I was on Windows, but it is more difficult on Kdenlive simply because there's an additional step I need to do. On DaVinci, it will automatically uh, normalize the volume as you're exporting, as long as you check it in the export window. And Kdenlive doesn't do that. I need to normalize the volume before I export. So that's one extra step. Technically, 5 extra steps, because I have the VODs set to break into 2-hour increments for 2 reasons. One, I've noticed if the stream goes down due to an internet connection or some type of PC failure or Twitch failure, it will corrupt that VOD. So I've lost entire like 12-hour streams because of the internet going out or something like that. And now didn't have a VOD to upload to YouTube afterwards because the file was corrupted. So that's part of the reason. I have it broken into 2-hour segments, so at most I lose 2 hours of the stream. Also, I haven't experienced issues with Kdenlive. It seems to be a lighter and more stable platform. But in DaVinci Resolve, I used to struggle with it crashing when I tried to import like a 10-hour long VOD. So importing 5 2-hour long VODs is a lot less resource intensive on the programs, and it might take a little longer, but there's no crash. And then within Kdenlive, I need to individually apply the volume normalization to each individual clip. But for the most part, there's like 2 extra steps. The workflow is the same, and it's not even like I just started using Kden. I've been using it ever since I switched to Linux. I had my whole workflow worked out, but for whatever reason, editing those videos seems like an insurmountable task at the moment, even though it's not any real editing. All I'm doing is applying normalization and cutting out like the first 10 minutes of the VOD, which is like the stream starting screen. That's literally all I'm doing. Then I hit export, wait for it to finish exporting, then I upload it to YouTube. And I don't know why I am struggling to motivate myself to do such a simple and limited workflow right now. But regardless, that's where we're at. So I'm still alive and kicking. I'm still doing my best to create content for you guys, but my best is not what I'd like it to be right now. So just be patient with me, is all I ask. I'm trying my best. I'm doing my best to be patient with myself. It's frustrating that I feel stuck like this and I can't figure out where the block is. Because, like, in the past, I've always been able to figure it out, not necessarily easily, but there were hints. Whereas this time, I feel like the only hints I have are red herrings, where it's like, no, that's an easy cop out. That's not the actual answer, because whether or not that happens, the lack of motivation still exists. So I don't know what the struggle is that I'm going through right now. It's an odd feeling of wandering lost in my own mind almost, and not finding any pathways or signs to point me to which direction I was supposed to go. But well, all I can really do is continue diving inwards until I find the cause of this problem and deal with it. Yeah, so that's what's up right now. This is going to be the first video I've uploaded in a while. It's less than an hour, which means I can finally post it on TikTok again. But I hope all of you are doing well. I love each and every two of you that watch my content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.